November 18th, 1991. Brooklyn, New York. Cold air moves through Ocean Parkway. A line of cars idles outside a modest residential building. Headlights dim. Engines low. No one speaks. Inside, a war is about to begin. And before it ends, it will tear apart an entire Mafia crime family. For decades, the Colombo crime family have been one of the most unstable factions of New York's five families. Unlike the powerful Gambinos or the disciplined Genovese, the Colombos were different. Volatile, emotional, prone to internal conflict. Their history was already soaked in blood. In the early 1970s, a violent internal war had nearly destroyed them. Bosses killed, soldiers turning on captains, brothers betraying brothers. But by the late 1980s, they had finally stabilized. Or at least, it appeared that way. At the center of this fragile peace was a man named Carmine Persico, known on the street as the Snake. Persico had ruled the Colombo family for years, even from behind bars, because by the time this story begins, Carmine Persico was already serving a life sentence. Convicted during the commission trial of 1986, one of the most devastating federal prosecutions in Mafia history. From prison, he still controlled the family. Through loyalists, through messages, through fear. But power in the Mafia never stays uncontested for long. With Persico locked away, a new figure began to rise. His name was Victor Orena, a quiet man, reserved, calculated, not flashy like other mob figures. Orena had been appointed acting boss of the Colombo family. At first, it seemed like a practical decision. Someone had to manage operations on the street. Someone had to keep the money flowing. Loan sharking, construction rackets, union control. Orena handled it all, efficiently. But something changed. Slowly, quietly, Victor Orena began to see himself not as a caretaker, but as the future. Around him, alliances started to shift. Capos began to take sides. Whispers spread inside social clubs and backroom meetings. He wants a seat, someone said. He's not giving it back. The problem was simple, but deadly. Carmine Persico still believed the family belonged to him and to his bloodline. He had plans to eventually pass power to his son, Alphonse Little Alley Boy Persico. To Orena, that was unacceptable. To Persico, it was betrayal. By early 1991, the Colombo family was splitting in half. Two factions, two loyalties, two futures. On one side, the Persico loyalists, men who had built their careers under Carmine, men who still followed his word, even from prison. On the other, the Orena faction, men who believed the old leadership was finished, men who wanted a new boss. And in the middle, a city that didn't even realize a Mafia civil war was about to erupt. Fall, 1991. Tension builds. Meetings grow tense. Eyes linger too long. Conversations stop when certain people walk into the room. FBI surveillance teams begin to notice the shift. Agents have been monitoring the Colombo family for years. Wiretaps, informants, surveillance vans parked quietly on Brooklyn streets. But now, something felt different. The tone had changed. More urgency, more paranoia, more talk of violence. One agent reportedly wrote in a report, "Indicators suggest imminent internal conflict." They were right. November 18th, 1991. The breaking point arrives. That night, Victor Orena leaves his home in Brooklyn. Routine, predictable, but not unnoticed. Waiting for him are men from the Persico faction, gunmen, prepared, watching. The plan is simple, clean, fast. Kill Orena before he consolidates power. End the threat. Restore control. But the Mafia rarely executes clean endings. As Orena steps outside, something goes wrong. Timing, positioning, confusion. Gunfire erupts. Sharp, sudden, echoing through the street. Neighbors freeze. Lights flick on in nearby apartments. But Orena survives. He dives, moves, escapes. Within seconds, the opportunity is gone. The hit has failed. And with that failure, everything changes. Because now, there is no going back. The Colombo family is officially at war. Within hours, word spreads through Brooklyn, through Queens, through Staten Island. They try to kill him. It's open now. Lines are drawn. Sides are chosen. Men who once sat at the same tables now avoid each other. Some disappear entirely. Others arm themselves. Safe houses are prepared. Cars are switched. Routines are abandoned. This is no longer about power. This is survival. The FBI watches closely. Agents begin tracking movements, monitoring payphones, following known associates, because they know what happens next. When mafia families go to war, the streets bleed. And this war will be different. This isn't just a dispute between crews. This is an internal collapse, a fracture at the highest level. And unlike previous mafia conflicts, this one will unfold under the constant eye of federal law enforcement. By December 1991, the violence begins. Drive-by shootings, ambush attempts, executions in broad daylight. Members of both factions become targets. No one is safe. Not captains, not soldiers, not even associates. The rules are gone. And for the first time in decades, New York City is witnessing something it hasn't seen in years. An open mafia war. But beneath the chaos, there is one truth that becomes increasingly clear. This isn't just a battle for control. It's a slow destruction, because every shot fired, every man killed, every betrayal is weakening the Colombo family itself. And the people watching most closely are not just the rival crime families. It's the FBI, waiting, watching, letting it unfold. Because sometimes the fastest way to destroy the mafia is to let it destroy itself. And this war has only just begun. December 1991, New York City. Winter settles in, but the streets are anything but quiet. The failed hit on Victor Orena didn't stop the war. It ignited it. Now, there are no more warnings. No more hesitation. Only targets. The Colombo family is officially split into two armed camps. Persico loyalists, Orena loyalists. Each side builds its own network, its own intelligence, its own kill lists. Social clubs once filled with laughter and card games now feel like surveillance zones. Every face is studied. Every word is measured. Who's he with? Can we trust him? Even longtime friends begin to doubt each other. Because in this war, trust is more dangerous than bullets. Early December, Brooklyn. Members of the Persico faction begin moving aggressively. They know they failed once. They won't fail again. Victor Orena becomes their primary target. But Orena adapts. Quickly, he changes routines, moves locations, travels with armed protection. He knows now they won't stop, and neither will he. Within days, Orena authorizes retaliation. The first confirmed hits begin. Cars pull up beside unsuspecting targets. Windows roll down. Gunfire erupts. Then silence. Bodies left in the street. The message is clear. This is war. December 20th, 1991. A Colombo associate tied to one faction is gunned down. Execution style. No hesitation. No warning. The newspapers begin to take notice. Mob violence returns to New York. But what the public doesn't fully understand is how deep this goes. This isn't just violence. This is an internal collapse. Capos are choosing sides. Crews are dividing. Entire rackets begin to fracture. Construction projects stall. Union influence weakens. Money stops flowing cleanly. Because no one knows who will be alive next week. Inside the Persico faction, orders are coming from prison. Carmine Persico still pulling strings. Messages move through intermediaries. Visitors, lawyers. Whispers pass from one trusted man to another. Take him out. He's with Orena. The chain of command remains intact, but barely. On the streets, execution is chaotic. Meanwhile, Victor Orena builds his own command structure. He surrounds himself with loyal captains, men who believe the future of the Colombo family depends on him. One of his key advantages is organization. Orena's faction operates with discipline. They gather intelligence, track movements, study routines. This is no longer emotional retaliation. This is strategy, and it makes them dangerous. January 1992. The violence escalates. Shootings become more frequent, more public. One attempted hit unfolds in broad daylight. Gunmen open fire, but miss their target. Civilians scatter. Cars crash. Sirens fill the air. New York City begins to feel it. Not just whispers anymore. Fear. Law enforcement increases presence in known mafia areas. Unmarked cars. Surveillance teams. But even they struggle to keep up. Because this war is unpredictable. Targets change daily, and loyalty is fluid. Some men switch sides, quietly. Others disappear entirely. Because in a war like this, being neutral is impossible. You choose a side, or someone chooses for you. Inside FBI headquarters, the tone shifts. Agents begin to realize this war is an opportunity. Years of investigations, wiretaps, informants, and now the Mafia is exposing itself. Meetings increase. Communication spikes. Mistakes are made. Men talk too much, move too openly, because survival overrides discipline. One agent reportedly says, "They're giving us everything." And they are, because war creates pressure, and pressure creates cracks. By early 1992, the Colombo War is no longer contained. It spreads across boroughs. Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island. Everywhere the family has influence, violence follows. The death toll begins to rise. Shootings, disappearances, bodies found in cars, on sidewalks, in quiet residential streets. Some victims are confirmed targets, others collateral damage. And with every death, the family weakens further. Other crime families begin to watch closely. The Gambinos, the Genovese, the Lucchese. They don't intervene. They observe. Because a weakened Colombo family means opportunity, territory, rackets, influence. But they also understand the risk. A war like this draws attention, and attention is dangerous. Back inside the Colombo ranks, paranoia reaches its peak. Meetings are shorter, more secretive. Weapons are carried at all times. Men sit facing doors. Every car that slows down, every stranger who lingers, feels like a threat. And often it is. Spring 1992. The war intensifies again. Another series of hits. This time more precise, more deadly. One Colombo soldier is ambushed as he leaves a location. Gunmen wait. No warning. Shots fired. He never makes it home. The retaliation comes quickly. Within days, another member of the opposing faction is targeted. The cycle continues. Kill. Retaliate. Kill again. There is no strategy for peace, because peace would mean surrender. And in the Mafia, surrender is death. Behind it all, the original failure still lingers. Victor Orena is alive, and as long as he lives, the war continues. But something else is happening, quietly. While both sides fight each other, the FBI is closing in, building cases, tracking names, documenting connections. Because every shooting, every meeting, every act of violence is evidence. And soon, that evidence will become something far more dangerous than bullets. Indictments. And when that moment comes, this war will no longer belong to the streets. It will belong to the courts. And the consequences will destroy what's left of the Colombo family. Summer 1992. New York City. The war is no longer just a street conflict. It has become a spectacle. Gunfire, funerals, sirens, and watching it all, the FBI. For months, federal agents have been collecting everything. Names, faces, meetings, phone calls. Now, they are ready. Because the Colombo War has done something no investigation ever could. It exposed the entire family, every faction, every alliance, every weakness. And in the world of organized crime, exposure is death. June 1992. Federal prosecutors begin preparing indictments. Racketeering charges, conspiracy, murder, weapons violations. Case files grow thicker. The names inside them are some of the most powerful figures in the Colombo family, on both sides. Because to the FBI, there is no Persico faction, no Orena faction, only targets. Meanwhile, on the streets, the war continues. But something has changed. The violence is still there, but the confidence is gone. Men are tired, watching over their shoulders, sleeping in different places, avoiding routine, because survival has become exhausting. And deep down, many of them know this war cannot be won, only survived. And even that is uncertain. October 1992. Brooklyn. Victor Orena steps in his car. Routine again. But this time, he is not being watched by gunmen. He's being watched by the FBI. Agents move in. Fast. Precise. No gunfire. No chaos. just handcuffs. Victor Orena is arrested. The man who tried to take control of the Colombo family is now in federal custody, charged with racketeering, including involvement in multiple murders tied to the war. Within days, more arrests follow. Capos, soldiers, associates from both factions. Doors are kicked in at dawn. Men are taken from their homes, from social clubs, from cars parked on quiet streets. The war begins to collapse because without leadership, there is no structure. Without structure, there is no control. And without control, there is no mafia. Back in prison, Carmine Persico watches it all unfold. The man who once controlled the family now sees it being dismantled. His loyalists are being arrested, his enemies removed, but not by him, by the government. The very force he had spent decades trying to outmaneuver. Inside courtrooms across New York, the final phase begins. Trials. Prosecutors lay out the evidence. Wiretaps. Witness testimony. Surveillance records. They describe the war in detail. The factions. The murders. The power struggle. Jurors listen. And for the first time, the internal workings of the Colombo family are exposed to the public. No more shadows. Only facts. Victor Orena is eventually convicted, sentenced to life in prison. Many of his top allies receive long sentences. Some will never walk free again. On the Persico side, the damage is just as severe. Key figures are arrested, convicted, removed from the streets. Even those who survive the war find themselves trapped in another battle. The legal system. And this time, there are no guns. Only evidence. By the mid-1990s, the Colombo family is no longer what it once was. Decimated. Leadership shattered. Crews weakened. Rackets lost. The once powerful organization reduced to a shadow of itself. And it all started with one failed hit. The attempt on Victor Orena's life did more than spark a war. It triggered the destruction of an entire crime family. Because in the Mafia, violence is a tool. But when used recklessly, it becomes a weakness. The Colombo War proved something that law enforcement had always believed. You don't always need to destroy the Mafia from the outside. Sometimes, you just need to let it tear itself apart. In total, the war left multiple men dead, dozens imprisoned, and an organization permanently damaged. The Colombo family would continue to exist, but never with the same power, never with the same influence, never with the same unity. Because once a family turns on itself, there is no going back. Years later, the streets of Brooklyn grow quiet again. The social clubs reopen. The cars return. But something is different. The tension remains. The memory of betrayal never fades. Because everyone who lived through it knows the truth. In the world of organized crime, the most dangerous enemy is not the police. It's the man sitting next to you. And sometimes, the hit that changes everything is the one that fails. Even after the convictions, the damage didn't stop. Because prison doesn't end Mafia influence. It reshapes it. From behind bars, men like Carmine Persico still held symbolic power, still respected, still feared. But the streets had changed. The younger generation had seen what the war did. They had seen captains fall, seen soldiers disappear, seen entire crews wiped out, not by rivals, but by their own family. And something shifted. Loyalty became quieter, more cautious, less absolute. Because the illusion had been broken, the idea that the Mafia was unshakable, untouchable, was gone. In its place was reality, a system vulnerable to ego, to ambition, to betrayal. The Colombo family survived on paper, but its identity had been permanently altered. And across New York, other families took notice. They became more careful, more controlled, because the Colombo War wasn't just a warning. It was a lesson written in blood, that even the most powerful criminal organizations can collapse from within. And when they do,